problem for him a bit. And it's. I think Chicago's slowly figuring things out. They still got a lot of work to do, but I think they're like slowly figuring things out a bit. Maybe I don't know, but I feel like the coach is getting a bit familiar with how they're like supposed to be doing
Yeah.
things. But yeah,
I,
Hamilton, you got anything?
I'm just surprised you guys didn't say anything about the Lions defense. I mean, this was supposed to be um a defensive team that was, get up in you, be aggressive, stop the run, rush the passer, and it really hasn't happened. I mean, it's like the Lions don't really, who's their best pass rusher right now. I'm
Aiden
not
Hutchinson.
seeing, and I'm looking over here at these stats right now. Only 3 sacks against the Bears, which is why I was saying, like, kudos to the offensive line of the Bears for actually, coming to work that day. But I'm looking right now, only 3 sacks really. And one of them was Hutchinson. I'm just a little, no interceptions, no nothing. I just felt like what happened to that Lions defense of last year, of earlier this season, that got in you. I know. I'm a Rams fan. I know you don't have to tell me about Jared Goff. I know all about Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? But one touchdown, 2 interceptions, 161 yards. That ain't gonna cut it at all.
yeah.
But
Well, I think their defense too. I mean, it wasn't 336 total yards. Isn't like a horrible game, in my opinion. Total yards.
yeah, but they got 28 hung up on them.
Yeah, they did. I mean, if Goff's putting you in a bad position to where
You said the Lions.
interception,
You said the Lions defense had no turnovers.
They had no, they didn't have any turnovers.
Okay.
turnovers.
And they were 6 and 15 in third down efficiency, so they weren't getting off the field. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm just what happened to the, when coming into the season. Part of the reason why I thought the Lions were going to be a really good team was how they finished last year, but also how that defense was last year. And so, I'm like, where is that defense that was getting into people? I think that defense allowed Jared Goff to not have to play from behind, allowed them to give a little cushion, and gave him a little mental cushion, because it's like, okay, if I mess up, I know I got this defense that can stop these guys, and I can go back again. But if you're asking Jared Goff, and he was never a guy that would go and win the game for you. He was always a game manager. This is who he's always been. So I feel like, I don't want to say it's predicated on the success of their defense, but that was heavy to me, and I feel like that's been lacking sorely.
Yeah, I think they didn't cause any turnovers either. I mean,
Mhm.
the Lions had 3 turnovers, and when you give a team, any team, even if it's the Bears, whose offense has been not very good all year, if you give them good field position, they only need to make 40 to 60 yards to go score a touchdown. You're looking at a bad situation for your defense in general. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough on everybody when you're turning the ball over and not creating any turnovers too. So
Yep. Yeah, very, very, very tough loss for the Lions. It looks like they need to get over that slump still for what they've been playing through, and I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but
it's tough. They got the Broncos, Cowboys, and Vikings again. Which Broncos are red hot. I don't think the Broncos have lost in over a month or so. The Cowboys, that's a really hard game, and then the Vikings apart. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop.
They'll split against the Vikings, in my opinion. They'll probably win one against the Vikings, probably lose one.
I can see that.
The Cowboys. Excuse me, the Lions. One could have made an argument about a month ago that those guys could have been first in the NFC. Kind of disappointing, but they're only 9-4 right now. They're still a game back from Detroit. I mean, from Dallas, from the Eagles, and from the 49ers. So, it remains to be seen. I like their head coach. He usually fires them up. Let's see what happens with their defense. And
Yeah, we'll see. This is going to be an interesting one to see too, man. This is the first time that the Lions have been this good in ages, so it's definitely interesting to see.
Yeah.
Speaking of interesting games to see, we had the Titans and Dolphins play last night, with the Titans beating them by a point in the last minute. I saw that game last night, and I think it was like at the 2 minute point in the game. I was like, okay, Dolphins scored again. It's like, okay, no, that's game. And then the Titans slowly snuck back, and then they scored again towards the end of that game. I was like, whoa, okay. So I don't know,
disappointing
man.
loss for the Dolphins. Very disappointing loss.
Yeah.
Kudos to Will
huge.
Levis. He was looking good, but very disappointing loss to the Dolphins. You're supposed to win that game. You had a chance to really take the AFC, get that number 1 spot and really grip onto it. Tyreek Hill went down. He came back. Remains to be seen how healthy he's going to be. That's it. I mean, he's an MVP candidate in my eyes, and I think the success of the team is predicated on his health and his ability to make plays. I would have liked to see Tua make a little bit more plays on the fly and not be so like, okay, I got to stick to the X's and O's. But it was really like glaring, like he kind of like took a step back once Tyreek got hurt. So
yeah.
It wasn't really clutch.
I think if you watch the game, when Tyreek went down, their offense went stagnant. It didn't. They weren't moving the ball.
It wasn't explosive.
They were getting stopped and keeping the Titans in this game, which
eventually
cost them. Yeah, and so, but then you see Tyreek come back and boom, he catches 2 big plays. I think he caught like a 25-yarder and then a 30-yarder, got him right down to the goal line, which was huge. Personally, I was watching this last night when Raheem Mostert had that touchdown. I'm in Florida, so it was close to midnight. I turned that thing off. I turned the game off, went to bed, and I woke up this morning and my friends texted me. They said, "Oh yeah, man, the Titans won." And I looked back and I watched it. The thing that is so glaring to me was the Titans have one threat, one vertical threat.
D-Hop.
And who was making every single catch? The Titans were down and they needed touchdowns at the end of the game. D-Hop was wide open. Where's Jalen Ramsey? Like, where's these guys at? These corners for the Dolphins, Javon Holland, safety. I mean, where were they at when
Rams fan here?
That's the one guy you gotta freaking guard. And
Rams fan here, bro. Low key, Jalen Ramsey has been cooked since the Super Bowl. He has been cooked, bro. Since that Super Bowl, he's been cooked. Honestly, he was getting cooked in the Super Bowl, low key. But since that Super Bowl, he's been glaringly cooked, and he hasn't been the Jalen Ramsey we know him to be. Honestly.
And you think about it too, like this dominant Miami Dolphins offense that they had at the beginning of the year. The Titans are not a particularly good team. There's been a lot of teams that have had their way with the Titans. And 27, they really put up 20 because Will Levis threw that pick 6 to a D lineman at the beginning of the game, which was not 100% his fault. But yeah, man, that was it was weird to see. I think how the Dolphins, they're at home. You have a primetime game, Monday Night Football. Everyone's fired up, ready to go, and they just didn't come to play completely. And especially their defense let them down at the end of the game. That was
especially with so much on the line. That was the point that I was like, where's the lack of urgency, the lack of or the sense of like, I gotta, let's hold on to the AFC. Like if they won that game, you know what I mean? Like I just didn't see the urgency. It bothered me. And then I just I'm not gonna bag on Tua. I would just say like, damn, I wish you made a couple more extra plays and kind of showed us that like, okay, you don't need Tyreek. You had Waddle, you know what I mean? Like I just wish I saw something a little bit different. Also, I did the Dolphins run the ball? Like did they really run the ball?
Here and there, a little bit.
I mean,
it was
158 yards, I guess. I mean,
Kane didn't get a lot of chances.
Yeah.
in fantasy, so I'm not too upset about that. But A-Chain is definitely a guy that needs to touch the ball at least 12 to 20 times a game.
Yeah.
So is Mostert.
Mostert got 21 carries. I mean, 21 carries for 96
Mostert
yards.
had a good game.
Yeah, 2 TDs. Yeah, I mean, he had a good game. Yeah, I'll give him that. I mean, he was running the ball. One could say, I guess, effectively, he was averaging 4 yards per carry. I'll give him that. Okay.
And you got to look at this. I think that was a must-win game for the Dolphins because right now they're 9-4. Okay. Ravens are the only team ahead of them at 10-3.
Yeah.
All right. And their upcoming games, they got the Jets, which are, believe it or not, the Jets are a hard team to beat. Okay. Even though they stopped them the first time, their defense can play sneaky good and they can win games. They can stay in it and somehow win. Then you got the Cowboys, the Ravens.
Damn.
It's gonna come down to I think for the Dolphins, it's gonna come down to that game against the Ravens. I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna come down to that.
For the first seed, yeah. I mean, but if you look at it too, I mean, they could drop 3 of those games because the Cowboys is a tough game. I think the Cowboys match up really well against the Dolphins too.
Totally. Also,
and
I was going to say
the Bills are heating up a little bit.
Oh yeah. I just also wanted to say that in this game, the Dolphins had so many opportunities and free points given to them. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the muffed punt they took advantage of, the missed toss that Derrick Henry missed somehow. And then like you said, the pick six earlier. Like, I don't know, it's a very big question mark for me on that one. Didn't really expect the Dolphins to really choke that one away. And I'm really looking forward to see how they'll manage to stay atop of the AFC with the rest of the schedule you just said to me, Jack. It's not easy. So
there's like a 8-way, 7-way tie for the 6 and 7 seed in the AFC right now. So it's thick. It's gonna go down to the wire this season.
Hell yeah. Well, very, very crucial loss. I think we can all agree for the Dolphins. It remains to be seen who comes on the top of the AFC as of now. Speaking of the AFC, we got the Bills beating the Chiefs in a crucial game as well. Chiefs lose a close one at home, and they missed out on that lateral pass play from Kelsey that got called back from penalty. I didn't see a lot of this game. I don't know if you guys did a lot, but I managed to watch the rest of the second half. Very, very, very close play, and it was very stressful to watch offensively for the Bills. So
no, I agree. I think biggest thing from this game is arguably the top 2 quarterbacks in the league. Whoever you say is number 2, but Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and he hasn't been playing his best football.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to do that when
he's got no receivers.
Man. Like, I can't even. It's not even on Patrick. I mean, what can he do? I've watched games where the man, like, the only thing else he could do is literally catch the ball for him because, I mean, he puts it in their hands and they drop it. What can you do with that? And the receiver core, I mean, it's
touchdown that got called back too. I mean, that was tough. That was tough.
Just the offensive
they showed
offsides.
They showed it. The thing was, whatever Patrick Mahomes says, whatever anybody says, he was offsides. He was. That is the rule, and you gotta he was 100% offsides, like clearly
way offsides. Like,
you gotta call it. Like, you can't not call that if he's way offsides. Like, what are you gonna just not call the rules against Mahomes? They do it a lot, but they can't blatantly he's
benefited a lot off of late calls in the game, whether it was the Bengals or whether it was the Eagles. Like, when moments that really mattered, he has benefited a lot. So him throwing the temper tantrum, now I get it, he did the moment and stuff like that. But he should be mad at his receivers because they're flagrantly messing up this year. I mean, what more can they do? Offsides, not catching passes, not running routes correctly. If you go back and watch that whole play, Kadarius Toney's like upset because he doesn't get the ball. Like, just flagrant, just bad